Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, July 7th, and I welcome you to our weekly PPACA webinars. For those of you that are new, and we do have a few new folks on the call this morning, we do run these every Thursday at 9:30. They typically run anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. It is a place where you can come to learn what's happened in the past week, anything legislative, anything with the carriers, and also to ask your questions. And you know, when we started these webinars a few years back, we really did it as a central place so that we could all learn this craziness together. You know, I've said very often we sink or swim together, and it's so true. From the questions that I get, it's made me better able to support you, and hopefully when you hear the questions being asked or answered, you're learning something as well. So never hesitate to ask any questions. If I don't know the answers, I will certainly find out and follow up with you as well as the group the following week. Another thing that I want to bring to your attention, again, since we do have some new folks on the call, is on our website, which is insgroup.com, under departments, if you go to health plan options, there's a lot of resources for you, not only SSM resources, information about how to calculate estimated income, who to include in your household, what income to include, and then also on the group health resources tool, if I can get to it, sorry about that, group health resources, you'll see all of the carriers, and you'll see further below everything that you need to quote Aetna for 2 to 50, new paperwork, employee change forms for every single carrier, whether it's the 2 to 50 or 100 plus. So it's a great resource that Elise and her team put together. So hopefully you can take advantage of that, as well as any of the other information on our website for any of our other departments as well. So let's get back to the presentation, and I guess it's a bad time to ask, but just with a show of hands, if you can see my screen, I'd appreciate it. If you could just put up your little hand icon. Ah, there we go. I see some hands. Had me worried there for a minute. Okay, so on with the agenda. I did talk about this briefly last week, but I thought it was important enough to remind you, and we're also in the payment period, so I wanted to just let you know again. The individual Capital Blue Cross billing for July, there was an error, there was a delay. The bills went out last Monday, and there is an extension for those July bills until the 19th of July. Your clients can still pay by calling in and making a payment over the phone, and that number is there, the 877-889-7282, or they can still write a check and just make sure to put their ID number or social date of birth on the memo section in their check, and it should be applied accordingly. You know, this is never as easy as it sounds, so if anyone has any issues, just let us know. We'll work with Capital and hopefully get some of those issues fixed. But obviously, they need to make payment by the 19th, or there's really nothing we can do. On to more wonderful billing errors. This one is for Highmark, and it affects the Highmark Group members. Highmark found within their systems that when groups were renewing, the age bands were not increasing. For instance, if somebody was 40 when the policy was issued, and upon renewal they should have bumped up to 41 and the appropriate age band, their systems weren't doing that. They don't know how many groups were affected by this error. They were set to send out a notice with all the billing, but there was an issue with that as well. So groups are getting bills that are not typical of what they've been seeing, so you may be getting questions on them. There is nothing that we can do about it. They are going to pick up and get that additional premium, $2–3 per employee here or there, because obviously they have to bill according to the age bands by law. And if they don't, then they could really, you know, get into some trouble. So never good news, certainly not for your group clients, but just wanted you to be aware that there are billing issues. So if you do get those calls from your clients, then obviously just let them know what's going on. Also, we talked last week about the Aetna Group Non-PPACA renewals, and I do have additional details for the 2 to 50 groups that are on the non-PPACA plans. They're going to be giving, for the October, November, and December renewals, they're going to be given a short renewal package, and basically extending to December 31st of 16. So if they have a December 1st renewal, they'll have a short plan December 1st through December 31st, and then re-up as of January. And that way they'll be allowed or able to keep their non-PPACA plan to the fullest extent of the law at this point, which is 12/31 of 17. So again, that's October, November, December renewals. They'll be giving a short contract period at the end of 2016, and then renewing for January through December of 31 of 17. Any questions on that, just let me know. Also, as we are preparing for the FFM and SHOP certification, that should come out probably in September. You know, I reminded you last week the things that you can do, which one of them was to verify your login credentials for portal.cms.gov, which is the site that you go to for all of your testing. Last year you were given the opportunity to log into that site, and there are 4 vendors. There was the MLMS, which is the Marketplace Learning Medicare something. I forget, I'm sorry, I forget what it stands for, but that was the free system. That was the government system that you could go in and do your certification. And there were 3 other vendors, AHIP, NAHU, and Gorman. And if you used any of those 3 other vendors to do your certification, you were required to go back in and put the code, the vendor code in when you completed your certification. And there were a lot of issues with that. So we just received notification that they are going to be removing that grayed box for that vendor code for the upcoming training. So that's actually a little bit of good news. And of course, as soon as that training is released, we'll let you know. Like I said, last year it was September. The years before it was August. So I'm expecting it in September. I mean, that's really it. It's not a lot of news this week, I guess, on some of the changes, but you know, we're going to have some time now for the open forum. So if you do have your questions, go ahead and type them in, or if you want to raise your hand, I'm happy to unmute you and you can ask your questions to everyone. So while you're thinking about that, there's only one question this week so far, and Dave says, is the Aetna short plan optional? Dave, it probably is, where they could renew for a 10/1 and then just go through 10 or 9/30 of 2017. But remember, these are all non-PPACA rates, so they're lower rates for the most part. And I've not seen too many instances in the last several years where going from a non-PPACA group to a PPACA group and the higher rates and all the mandates saves anybody money, except for your really, really old groups. So it is, I would imagine it's optional. In fact, I know it's optional, but I would just caution you that it may not be the best option to not take it. And that's it. Those are all of our questions today. As always, I really appreciate you joining in every week. Next Thursday, the 14th of July, we'll have our another session, and hopefully you'll join in and ask some questions. And in the meantime, I wish you all a great balance of the week and a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.